What's up everyone? We have another episode of Guess the ELO today. Today's submitter is Scenario, and something very interesting about him is that he actually joined the most recent team tour. This is a relatively old recording, and I'm pretty sure he has been improving a lot since sending this video, but this is the one game he wanted me to review, and it is Turtle Pack. So here we go, let's hop right into it, and we can hopefully guess the ELO correctly today. So we're starting off with a cricket purchase, which generally I don't recommend. Something like a duck, which he had in the initial shop, I believe is going to be a lot better. Something like duck, beaver, pig is the basic trio of pets that you want to be going for. Pigeon as well, I guess, is one of those, so it's 4 pets in total. Here he does find a horse as well, which curiously enough he doesn't take. He takes the fish over the horse. Thankfully he did take the duck as we instructed, but if you have a cricket you might as well take the horse for tempo, right? It makes sure that you win the round easier. With this current setup he is most likely either drawing or potentially even losing. It depends on the opponent's team. So let's take a look. It looks like it's going to be a draw after all. By the way, I apologize for the quality being a little low. I don't think there's a way to increase it. Yeah, 360p is all that we have available, so this is all we have to work with. I apologize. But in the meantime, we do find double cricket, so at least we have one level up ready for next turn. We also do take the horse. If we position correctly, this can be decent. This is the one turn we want to be losing because we did end up drawing last turn. We want to be losing just to enable snail. And if we put horse in the back, which I believe is what's going to happen, it's going to be very difficult for us to lose. Most likely we are going to be winning this upcoming fight, which is actually kinda bad. But let's see what happens. Maybe we do get a miracle draw or even a loss. We never know. It looks like it's actually going to be a draw, which is pretty decent because they have a big unit in the back. Their opponent also didn't seem to position in a losing way, otherwise they would have put the ant in the back instead of buffing the duck. But yeah, at this point in the game I think the opponent has a better start. A duck level up into 2 beavers as well, so he's going to be getting a lot of HP and a lot of attack on his tier 3 pet. Meanwhile though, we still have a level up plus a dog, so let's take a look at our level. It's going to be a dog sheep. Probably I would be taking the dog here. It's going to be a lot easier to be winning fights with the dog. Sheep is kinda nice as well since we already have a horse. But yeah, dog plus flamingo is already a good combination we have in the shop. We can even pick up a cricket, which is going to be effectively serving as an apple plus half a cupcake for the dog. So I guess we roll past the flamingo. Personally, I would not have done that. We could have just combined crickets. The one temporary attack on this cricket that it has currently will be carrying over, so it will be going up to 5 attack. It will be a 5-6 cricket up at the front, which I believe is going to be clearing a lot of units. Thankfully though, we do roll into double horse, which is also a pretty decent take. Of course, we would rather have tier 2s, maybe not the kangaroo, but something like a spider or a flamingo we would probably prefer to have. But horse is probably the third best option, I would say, as we win the turn. Probably not recommended that we put our big guy at the back because this is considered draw positioning. When we have such heavy tempo, we really want to be winning, especially when the opponent is going for something scary like a level 3 duck into perhaps a penguin or a bison on turn 5. But yeah, other than that, I think it's relatively decently played out. We get a horse level up right here. We're going to be rolling for stuff, which I don't think we were actually rolling for anything. Maybe a flamingo we could have taken, maybe another cricket we could have taken. Other than that, it's probably not worth it, so I kinda like this cupcake purchase, to be honest with you. And it does make us trade easier with this duck, which is once again very good. But you can see it's almost kind of scary. The fact that we continue putting the big dog at the back and having it do nothing almost cost us the round there. We would have almost drawn if this badger had, how much more attack was it? Like 3 more attack, which is kind of scary to think about because they can very easily get that with the worm. We have a skunk level, which is great. We take the blowfish, which isn't that great. Blowfish is typically good when they have lots of small guys you want to take out, lots of problematic units. And you can claim that they have that. They have like double ant currently plus a worm. I do believe though that the worm will pretty soon be sold. Maybe the ants will be combined and then pilled, like getting a level up and then just getting rid of the ant. And all they're left with is a couple of big units that can potentially one-shot the blowfish, so we don't really want that to happen. If we do take a blowfish, the idea is to have it survive as many hits as possible, or maybe even combine it with an elephant. So I would have maybe taken a skunk, just because it would reduce the HP of this duck very nicely, allowing us to trade a lot easier. Still not bad though, it's a 5-6 with garlic. We also find triple dolphin in the shop, which we could have taken as well. Dolphin I kinda actually enjoy, especially when they have a 4 HP badger, which can potentially self-destruct their entire team. Maybe we can make something happen with the dolphin, but I'm not the biggest hater of skipping either, especially because we find a dog as a result. It's going to be very hard for us to find levels though. It is going to be very hard for us to continue winning fights. Thankfully, this time we do survive on 1 HP, but even still we only managed to draw, and I would argue that their team is better. They have a level up almost surely prepared in the badger, they have another one in the worm. Something happened to the second ant that they had, so they don't have quite a guaranteed level up on the ant, but yeah, I think that's a misplay on their part. And as well as that, they have the possibility of selling a level 3 duck onto their tier 5 pets, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. It doesn't generally happen. But yeah, we just stack the dog right here. We buy a salad, which hit the 2 best units available, which is extremely lucky. This is probably a team that I wouldn't be buying salads on because first of all, we can just buy sell units to get the stats of the dog up instead of the salad, and then also salad has a couple of bad targets. Actually more than a couple. I think it has more bad targets than good targets. You don't want it to be hitting this cricket, neither do you want it to be hitting the other cricket, neither do you want it to be hitting the horse. So we really did luck out with the first salad, hitting exactly the dog and the blowfish, which are the 2 units most likely to stay on the team. And the second salad does completely whiff, unfortunately. Maybe the dog can stay for a little bit, not the dog, sorry, the horse maybe can stay for a little bit because it is very nice tempo, especially when you pivot into tier 4 or tier 5 pets. But we can see now, if starting from this turn, it's going to be kind of difficult for us to catch up to the opponent. We only took 2 hearts off of them and they have finally begun to scale with a bison. They did find their early level up of the worm, which they did end up taking into the bison, and now they're going to be getting cheap, basically pairs to buff some extra as well. So we are in a very scary spot. If only we had a skunk maybe to help us out. Wink wink, nudge nudge. But we do find the rooster. I think I kind of enjoyed the rooster. What was the other level up though? Was it a crocodile? I believe it was a crocodile, right? Give me a second, let me rewind. Crocodile, also kinda nice, works well against the badger, but it would only work well for a single turn and then they will just reposition the badger. And even though it does work well on this turn, it would only snipe the badger, which would therefore also kill the ant, which still doesn't address these 3 units, which are also kind of problematic. So I really do enjoy the rooster. It gives us a potential buff target. It can maybe help us turn the game around in the future. Yeah, something like a pair I think we're going to be very happy to be giving to the rooster. Works well with the horse as well. Maybe gets us the win this turn as our opponent pivots into double bison plus penguin. Thankfully we do manage to win because our dog is level 2 now, so it gets crazy temporary stats. Another pair, absolutely amazing, and a cupcake. Maybe cupcake isn't super necessary. I would honestly be looking at this penguin in the shop right here. It's basically a +2/+2, right? It would give +2/+2 worth of stats to two of the pets on your team that are level 2. So maybe you sell out of horse for it, or maybe you sell out of blowfish for it. Like both of these units aren't doing that much currently, so you can just get some stats instead. Or alternatively, what would have been better is something like a skunk. Once again, I'm going to say, we really need some tempo to continue beating our opponent because the scaling that they currently have is actually kind of crazy. A +1/+2 on this bison, and then another +1/+2 on this bison, and then a +2/+2 from this penguin, and then another +2/+2 from this worm. So they basically have a level 3 monkey on the team, giving them insane amounts of stats. So hopefully we continue to get wins. Once again, dog, I would probably put second to last position, maybe put the horse behind it, just so the dog can clean up and the horse can remain as the survivor of the team. Thankfully we still win, which is good news. Our opponent maybe soon enough should start like counterplaying us a little bit. If we're going to be continuing to keep the dog in the back, I would probably buy a crocodile if I were my opponent. But yeah, instead we just continue to buff up with a pair. We don't take the penguin, which we froze. I think on tier 5 there is better stuff to be taking. Actually, better stuff to be taking in the sheep as well, I think. I would probably be taking this shark. It's going to be getting crazy amounts of stats and it will give you the possibility to scam out your opponent. Instead we take the sheep though. I can kind of see why it gives a lot of stats to the dog. But once again, if we're keeping the dog in the back, I am not really the biggest fan of that. Maybe we can put the blowfish in the back, even though we really want to sell it eventually as well. Sushi purchase also maybe not the best. I would be taking this chocolate instead on the rooster maybe, or on the shark that I would have bought. But yeah, maybe this gets there. They combine the bisons, so they lose out on a lot of stats, but they did buy a skunk as well for some anti-scaling. The good thing when you have a dog and they have a skunk is that even if you make it so that the skunk hits the dog, during the fight the dog will continue regenerating its HP and it will end up like the skunk did nothing at the end. Thankfully though we didn't even hit the dog with the skunk effect, we hit the rooster, so we just easily clean up with the dog, I would assume. Actually super close. You see once again another reason to have the blowfish at the back. The dog would have done the same thing as it did during the fight, but the blowfish would have been a healthy survivor at the back. So let's see what happens. We take a chili. Not the most impactful chili, but I can kind of see why we want it. Maybe it helps prevent a scorpion scam or some snake scams in the future. This rooster right here is kind of delicious, so is the cow, so is the chocolate once again. Double blowfish I do believe is based because we do end up selling this blowfish probably next turn, if not even this turn. Instead we choose to invest in the blowfish and we skip the cow. We even find another cow and the skunk. Please don't skip those. Okay, it happens I guess. Is the opponent down to a single heart? They are down to a single heart. Okay, so I believe we could maybe scam out that final win, but as you can see, the stats are really starting to catch up to us. They have a 20-21 plus another 10-15. And meanwhile, our biggest unit is getting temporary stats and it's only as big as their duck. So it's not good enough anymore. We need to find another way to win. We sell the dog for the dragon. Probably a bad idea. Dog and dragon are very synergistic because dragon really wants you to buy sell pets, and when you buy sell pets, the dog gets a ton of temporary stats as a result. So what you could end up doing is maybe even frontline the dog, have it take care of the two biggest units that they have, and then your backline can clean up their backline very easily. Maybe we could have sold the sheep for it and maybe sold the cricket in favor of a buy-sell for tier 1s or even the blowfish, but it's kind of difficult to get rid of the blowfish now that it's level 2. Also, once again, we have the possibility of a level 2 rooster. I think it might be worthwhile. So might be the skunk, to be honest with you. We do take the cricket, we skip the rooster. Chocolate goes on the dragon, which I do agree with. If we can get a level 3 dragon, we can very quickly catch up to our opponent's scaling. They're not really that threatening, to be honest. They have like only a level 2 penguin plus a level 1 bison. And it's very hard for them to sell out of this duck. So I do think their team is not super late game oriented, and ours can be very easily pivoted to be. For example, by taking this leopard maybe. Probably a bad combination of the crickets right there. Selling gives you 1 extra gold, and we really do need as much gold as we can get to get the level up as quickly as possible and to cycle win as many tier 1s as possible. Melon is good, I like the melon. Cow is good, it's as good as a tier 1 purchase right now. If we do end up getting a level 2 dragon though, I would probably start skipping cows, to be honest with you. Okay, this still is looking kinda decent. Very close, but still their two biggest units remain. If we can find a chocolate or a dragon, we can start popping off though, and thankfully we do get quite lucky. We get lucky with some more tier 1s in the shop as well. I think on average per row you should be expected to find less than 1 tier 1 per shop row, so yeah, it's not always a guarantee that you get to scale up with the dragon. You should be thankful for every single tier 1 that you're getting. But yeah, I think we're very quickly starting to catch up. Unlucky breakpoint right there with the steak popping through the melon. We still have 2 hearts though, we have 2 turns worth of scaling. And all of a sudden, I think we have caught up to their scaling, but our unit quality is just better. Good unfreeze of the rooster. I think it's better for us to just farm as many stats as possible instead. Here we go. And frontline to counter the steak. I like the idea. It does end up working out. The rooster 3 for once. The chick deals massive damage. And just barely we end up losing once again. But I think one more turn of buy selling tier 1s, it's going to be GG for us. Chocolate is probably very bad. We're most likely not finding the level up. Okay, never mind then. I guess this was a big rooster game. We just find every single rooster in existence. Tiger? Tiger freeze, maybe not the best. I don't see what we would put tiger behind other than the rooster for an extra 15 attack check. But then again, we become very susceptible to this chili. This chili can just cleave through the checks like nothing, and it's kind of dangerous to be doing that. I would probably be rolling for tier 1s or a scorpion instead. Even this snake is somewhat appealing, to be honest. It can get us a good breakpoint maybe, but I would probably agree that either tiger or turtle would be the better choice right here. Personally, I would probably take turtle. Tiger is okay though, not behind the blowfish though, definitely not behind the blowfish. We do really want the triple checks from the rooster. I think that's the main appeal of tiger. Melon would probably have been better on the blowfish or on the cricket. But let's see what happens. It's going to be a close game, down to Lito v Lito. We pop the chili, we pop the steak, we exploit the power of the chicks, and the blowfish plus tiger combo does it for us. So here we go, it's a win. Good job, Nario. Kind of weirdly navigated at times, but we did manage to get there eventually, and I believe our team did end up looking a lot better than our opponents by the end of the game. So let me try to guess the ELO for today. I would probably say something along the lines of okay, let's actually try to be a little more specific today. I will try 1630, for example. That sounds about right in my mind. And the answer is in the description, it says. It won't be contained within the video, so we're just going to zoom down a little bit and we're going to take a look at the ELO. My ELO after this game was 1584. So we were, how much ELO is that? It's like 50 ELO basically off the mark, which I would consider to be a victory in my book. We did pretty well to guess the ELO for today, and I am sure by this time Nario is actually a lot better at the game because he has been getting a lot of team tour coaching. So yeah, good submission, Nario. Thank you very much for it. If anyone else wants to submit, you can please check out my community posts because that's where I have been gathering all of the video footage for these kinds of videos. And other than that, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do enjoy, I really hope that you like, sub, do all the generic stuff, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.